So I will start by welcoming each and every one of you to this occasion. It always daggers the heart of any tax administrator, especially FRS, when an occasion like this is held, because it's a place where we think we meet with our most esteemed customers, most esteemed stakeholders. In order to interact with them, hear from them what their issues are with us, and try to see how we can propose solutions to whatever issues they have as far as FRS is concerned. My speech is going to be very short, very summarized. I will take it like this. I will try and see, take you through what FRS is all about, where we have come from since 1943 when the organization was formed during the colonial era, up to today where we are in 2022. Very briefly, you will see what we have gone through, the kind of reforms FRS have been able to go through. I will tell you, even those of us that are staff of FRS, 1 year ago, we didn't anticipate FRS would be where we are today. So I will take you through that just very briefly, and then I also mention very briefly what issues we have with you, what your roles as entrepreneurs are to FRS and the federal government, and then what issues we have with you in the course of dealing with you on a daily basis. And then at the end of the day, we will see what solutions we have for your problems as we hear from you. I will start by telling you that FRS has a mission and we have a vision. The FRS mission is to operate a transparent and efficient tax system that optimizes revenue collection and voluntary compliance. The most important word here for me is the voluntary compliance. What FRS do is we allow the taxpayer or the entrepreneur at the end of every year or at the end of every month, depending on what taxes you want to pay, we allow you to tell us what activities you have done with your company for that period. On your own, come and tell us, this is what I have done for this month, and this is what I want to pay as VAT. Or this is what I have done for the whole year, and this is what I want to pay for my income tax, education tax, CGT, that is capital gain tax, and whatever kind of tax that is applicable to your company. We will accept it from you, but we know that in the course of checking through your records, if you do not tell us exactly what you have done, I tell you we are going to discover one way or the other. Because we have mechanisms on the ground that will enable us detect where taxpayers do not tell us what they are supposed to tell us as far as their activities are concerned. So that's that for the mission. And for the vision, that's the long-term ambition of FRS, is to deliver quality service to taxpayers in partnership with all stakeholders and make taxation the pivot of national development. Here, what I'm primarily concerned with here is partnership with stakeholders, and that is the very more reason why we're here, myself and my very esteemed team. Anything that has to do with partnering with stakeholders, FRS is always in the forefront because that is our vision. That is where we want to see ourselves in the very few years to come. And that is why we're here with you today. And then the other element I want to see is the pivot. We want taxation to be the pivot of national development. And already it is becoming so. Because we are all aware that in the last few years, in fact, since the COVID pandemic came in, taxation has continuously become the most important element of revenue generation for the country. I've always said it, at the time we all know, we got a period where the revenue from NNPC was not forthcoming. They will go to federation account meetings, which they do every month, and then NNPC will come and give zero contribution. It is only by the blessings of FRS, and we say it very boldly, that the federation was able to move. We were able to give them very good revenue on a monthly basis, and they were able to go back to their states, distribute, and carry out the functions of governance. To that extent, I would say our vision has succeeded. Very briefly, Nigeria, we all know, politically we run a federalism, a federation system of government. And therefore, unfortunately, as far as tax administration is concerned, we cannot operate like other jurisdictions do. If you go in most clients, in most jurisdictions, the country always has one tax authority through which all the taxes are paid, all revenues of government are collected. Unfortunately for Nigeria, because of the federal system we operate, we have 3 tiers of government: the federal, the state, and the and the local governments. And each of them has authority by the constitution to collect some kind of taxes or the other. Unfortunately, that's where most times the issue of double taxation, the issue of double administration comes in. Those of us who listened to the tax dialogue yesterday, where the president was around to make presentation, we all had the dilemma the country is going through in terms of tax administration proliferation and in terms of this double taxation that has been bothering entrepreneurs in Nigeria. The main issue is because we have 3 tiers and each of them has authority to collect certain kind of taxes. In the course of this collection, in the course of the administration, most times you get to hear about double taxation in the process. Like I already mentioned earlier, we have FRS collects a lot of taxes. Mostly FRS deal with all taxpayers. But primarily our major taxpayers are the corporate taxpayers. Because the corporate taxpayers are those that pay, those that are limited liability companies. They pay company income tax, capital gain tax, withholding tax, education tax, and a few other taxes to the Federal Inland Revenue Service solely. They cannot pay these taxes to other jurisdictions. Then VAT. VAT is not limited to only limited liability companies. VAT cut across every consumer. And consumer does not mean somebody that eats. Consumption also cut across what you use. And unfortunately for us, no human being can stay without consumption. It's either you are eating or you are buying products for use in your homes. So as far as you do those actions, you are a consumer. And as far as you are a consumer, you must necessarily pay VAT. That's where federal revenue comes in. Like I said in our vision, primarily FRS's activities are based on voluntary compliance. But I tell you, the people that did our laws, they realized that as human beings, and as far as taxation is concerned from history, we know that it's not always possible that voluntary compliance will apply. Because there are people that no matter what you do, they will not voluntarily comply. And because of that, they gave us a lot of powers in the laws, all the laws, whether it is Company Income Tax Act, whether it is Capital Gain Tax Act, whether it is VAT Act, whether it is Establishment Act, we have a lot of enforcement powers. That's why we always like to do this kind of programs with you, so that we let you know this is our responsibility to FRS and the federal government, as an entrepreneur, as a taxpayer. It is only when you fail to do that, that of course FRS will not tell you, we have powers too. And then we will apply our powers and get our taxes from you. So over the years, we have, FRS has tried to see how we improve our services so that we can satisfy our primary stakeholders, which is the entrepreneur. And we have tried from the earlier years, where we have one tax office that collects different tax offices that collect different taxes. We used to have an ATO, we call them area tax offices. They are only concerned with company income tax, CGT, and others. So if you want to file your taxes, you will go to a tax office, they call ATO, you file your CITN and whatever, then look for where the VAT office is, then you go to begin to file your VAT. When you have issues, you have to run from one office where VAT is handled to another office where only company income tax is handled. So at the time we discovered that no, this is not productive, it's not helping our taxpayers, it's too stressful. So we decided to do what we call integrated tax office, where all taxes are now combined in one place, and we call this one-stop shop. So you come to the office, the files are matched, whether it is company income tax, CGT, whatever you want to pay, your file is centralized in one tax office. You go there, you do your businesses for all your taxes and go back home and sleep. And over the years, we have tried to see, even with that, how do we else make it easier? We say, okay, let's do segmentation. Segmentation based on what? Based on turnover. How do we satisfy all our taxpayers? You cannot put a taxpayer that pays a company income tax of 20 billion in a year with a taxpayer that pays only 200,000 in a year, or a taxpayer that pays only 10,000 in a year. There's no way you can treat them very adequately. So we decided to do segmentation, and we decided to have large tax offices. Fortunately, I have the tax controller here. We have medium tax offices. I have also one of the tax controllers here. And we have small and medium tax offices. I also have one of the taxpayers here. Sorry, one of the tax controllers here. So these offices are supposed to handle these taxpayers according to the level of the degree or the volume of the transaction of that taxpayer. So that if a taxpayer is very large, he goes to a place where he will be treated very honorably. If you are a medium taxpayer, you go to where you will be treated very honorably. If you are also a small taxpayer, you go to a place where you will be treated very honorably. Because when you go to the micro and small tax office, it is all your class of taxpayers that are there. So I know the tax controller is not going to say, look, I beg once, sit down there. I'm treating the taxpayer that wants to pay me 20 billion. No, all of you will be in the same class. So as we go on, just a few months ago too, we decided, okay, that one too is not enough. Let us look at how do we also simplify things for the taxpayer and for us. Why don't we do also segmentation in terms of industry? Then we look at what kind of business you do. Let us create offices that will give these guys very good treatment, because we have specialized staff that know the businesses of these kind of taxpayers or enterprises. And right now we have created a lot of these kind of offices. For instance, just last month or two, we have created in communication and broadcasting. So if you're in that kind of business, like some of you in computer villages, if you're in that kind of business, we have moved your file from where you were before to special offices where you'll be giving specialized treatment. Also, I will not forget to mention that we have also recently developed an in-house tax administration platform where you'll be able to pay your taxes, file your returns with ease. From the comfort of your office or from the comfort of your house, you can file your returns, whether it is VAT, whether it is company income tax or whatever kind of tax it is. You can file it from the comfort of your house, from the comfort of your office, and that program was developed in-house by our own staff, and we call it Tax Promax. It is now already operating. So if you need to pay your tax, please go to any of our tax offices, ask them what Tax Promax is all about. They will put you through, and it will become very easy for you to comply, and you will not have problem with FRS any longer. We also have recently, we launched what we call FRS call centers. As I speak with you now, we have some pamphlets behind your chairs, behind the conference room. Those pamphlets carry the numbers of those call centers. Please, anytime you have any problem with any of our offices, all you need to do is to call those numbers, lay your complaints, and I bet you your issues are going to be solved within very minimal time. Another thing we have been able to do for the last 3 years, maybe because of the coming of the COVID-19 problem, we have been able to introduce what we call the Finance Act. Before now, our laws are very static. Whatever has been there has been there. It used to be very extremely difficult to get any part of our law amended by the National Assembly. But since 2019 to date, we have continuously established a system where every year, at the time the government is doing budget, the federal government, they also be passing what they call the Finance Act. The Finance Act is an act that look at all our laws as we operate within the year. If there's any place we have problem within the law, whether it is a loophole in the law, whether it is an issue in the law, whether it is a problem that is causing problem for our taxpayers and our stakeholders, we take a second look at it and do a memo and combine them and send to the National Assembly. And because it is an established system now, at the end of every year, this thing comes out as Finance Act. One of the benefits of this, we have all seen in 2000, Finance Act, the palliative giving for our small taxpayers, where you are zero rated as far as company income tax, as far as taxes are concerned. If your turnover is below 25 million in a year, you are a very small taxpayer. So we felt, why don't we exempt this price of taxpayers? Let us see. With time, we give them the opportunity to grow. Because like one of my guys has said, Mr. Harvard, representing the chairman, CITN, what do you call it? The intention of FRS is never to kill businesses. The intention of FRS is to grow businesses. Because we know the more you grow, the more your businesses grow, the more revenue you get, of course, the more taxes you collect from you. So we have done that Finance Act. We have passed it over 3 years now. We are in 2021 Finance Act now. It's operational. So those are the reforms and the progresses we have made over the years, all with a view to making payment of taxation or filing of taxes or dealing with taxpayers as easy as possible, so that compliance level will rise and there will be no need for FRS to use enforcement powers. So very briefly, I will say a few things because of the time. Your responsibility to us as our esteemed taxpayers and as our esteemed customers. We regard you and FRS as king. Because you are king, we always want to treat you with kid gloves. We always try to avoid any opportunity that will give us reasons to use our enforcement powers. So I'll just list a little of the things we require from you as our taxpayers. One, we expect that every company that is established by any law in Nigeria is supposed to register with FRS. That is the first thing to do. The first thing you need to think of establishing a company. The second thing you must think of is registering with FRS. Come to any of our offices, not necessarily where you don't want to do your business or where you want to apply to be. If you like register a company in Abuja, you want to do business in Lagos, you can go to any office in Abuja, they will register you, tell them you want your file to be transferred as it is being registered to Lagos. Because of course you are flying back to Lagos, you only went there to register your company. And that will be done for you. So any of our offices is capable of registering your company, transferring it to wherever you want your businesses to continue. That is one. Then the second thing you must do, because it's in the law, is you must obtain tax identification number, which we call TIN. At the point of registration, of course, you will be given that tax identification number. What we have done over the years is that we have collaborated with Corporate Affairs Commission, mostly as they are registering you they are incorporating your company. We have a liaise with them. As they are incorporating you, they are creating tax identification number for you, and they are sending your information direct to our system. And the moment we open our system, we will see that company ABC Nigeria Limited has been incorporated today, and this is the TIN number allocated to it. These are the addresses, these are the details. That's why most times, even when you don't come to our offices, you discover that we begin to call you on phone. That, okay, you have registered company, you have incorporated your company, you have not come to complete your registration process. That is how we manage to get information about you. Then the other thing you must do is that you must file your returns as agreed to. Returns are the affairs of your companies, what you have done over a certain period of time, depending on what kind of taxes. Like I said, if it's value-added tax, of course, it's on a monthly basis. So whatever you have done for that month, come and file your returns with FRS. And it does not matter whether you are not going to pay anything, because the law does not force you to pay. Where there is no payment, there is no payment. If unfortunately you did not do anything for that month for whatever reason, come and tell us. And the only way you can tell us is through that returns. That look, for this month I have not done anything, so my tax payable is zero. We will accept it, pending when we are able to get any further information that says contrary to what you are telling us. Then you are also supposed to keep adequate record for whatever business you are doing, your activities, because there are times that will require you to give us some information when we are checking your records. And there are times that will come for audits, there are times we will come for investigation, there are even times we will come for criminal investigation. We will have cause to do that. Then you are also supposed to give us, we are not supposed to withhold any information from FRS. So we expect you to at all times give us full and correct information that may be required from any of our offices. Where we require any information, please, we require you to give it to us. So in view of the time, and I think I'll try to summarize whatever I want to say, I want to wish all of you a very happy celebration. The organizers, I thank you so very much for organizing this kind of forum. Already we are dealing with Mr. Teni. Unfortunately, I didn't know he's a pastor. I only know he's a pastor today. I've had several meetings with him in my office. We have also done a CSR with them, himself and his team, they're all here. And we are looking forward to very continuous cooperation with them. So thank you so very much.